The reason certain people walked out of your life is because Archangel Michael was protecting you from battles you didn't even know existed. My dearest one, do you know why certain people suddenly vanished from your life? Why connections that once felt divine dissolved without reason? Archangel Michael whispers this truth tonight. It was never rejection. It was redirection. You were being pulled away from hidden storms that your heart could not yet perceive. He says, I stood between you and unseen daggers. There were conversations, manipulations, and silent betrayals you were never meant to witness. You thought their absence was your loss, but it was your preservation. Michael shielded your soul from spiritual crossfire, battles designed to drain your destiny before it even began. Some of those who left carried spiritual weights, energies that would have anchored your light to chaos. You cried over their exit, not realizing heaven was staging your escape. Each goodbye was a celestial rescue mission, written in divine code. The Archangel did not remove people to punish you, but to position you. He saw traps woven behind smiles, envy disguised as care, and darkness dressed as affection. You wondered, why does everyone leave? But child, they didn't walk out. They were escorted out. If you had stayed connected to them, your peace would have fractured, your focus scattered. But now, in the quiet of solitude, your spirit can finally breathe. Archangel Michael says, do not chase what I've released. When heaven closes a door, it's not rejection, it's protection sealed in divine armor. Before you scroll, understand this next line, because this is where revelation strikes. Some of those departures were timed to align your path with higher frequencies. You couldn't rise until certain energies were removed. You were never being abandoned. You were being chosen. Type I am protected in the comments if this message reaches your soul. Blessing code 1199 has now been released. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now reveals what truly happened in those silent seasons when people disappeared, when conversations faded, when the laughter suddenly ceased. You thought it was coincidence, but heaven saw it long before you did. Every departure was scheduled by divine intelligence, designed to cleanse the path before your next elevation. There were people you loved deeply, yet they carried intentions that would have poisoned your purpose. Michael stood watch, unsheathing his flaming sword to cut every thread that connected you to counterfeit alliances. He says, my child, you prayed for peace, but peace cannot dwell where deception hides. In the unseen realm, battles raged for your destiny. There were forces that whispered lies through familiar voices, draining your confidence, sowing confusion. They smiled, yet their energy carried thorns. You could not see the invisible war, but Archangel Michael saw every arrow aimed at your peace. Some arrows came as jealousy disguised as friendship, others as manipulation wrapped in concern. The Archangel intervened before the wounds could form. When you lost people, it was not loss, it was victory wearing a disguise. You remember the night you felt the heaviness, that unexplainable urge to walk away from someone you once trusted. That was Michael pulling you back, whispering in your spirit, this connection no longer aligns with your light. The discomfort was divine protection. Every closed door echoed a celestial decree. No more counterfeit bonds. What you felt as loneliness was actually heaven clearing the noise so you could hear God again. Michael wants you to know, he didn't remove them in anger. He removed them in mercy. Because you could not see the energy that followed them, the shadows that lingered behind their words. Some of them were connected to spiritual contracts meant to delay your growth. If they had stayed, your blessings would have been entangled in their storms. So he severed it, swiftly, silently, without your permission, because protection rarely feels comfortable. And that's why certain goodbyes came without closure. Heaven doesn't explain every rescue. When Michael moves, explanations are unnecessary. You only understand later. When peace replaces confusion. When clarity returns like sunrise after a long storm. That's when you realize what left was never meant to carry your next season. Child of light, Michael says this moment is your awakening. You are stepping into an atmosphere where discernment becomes your shield. You will no longer cry over closed doors, for each one is a portal to divine redirection. You were never left behind. You were moved ahead. Those who left were simply not assigned to your next miracle. Now, listen closely, because this part is for your spirit. The very people who left you in pain may soon witness your elevation. But you must not hold bitterness. Forgive, for your forgiveness breaks every remaining tie. Michael says when you release them with peace, I can release you into promise. The old energy cannot follow where you are going. Heaven is calling you to trust again, but this time with discernment. Michael is training your spirit to recognize truth beyond appearance. The next relationships entering your life will carry divine frequency, souls that mirror your purpose, not drain it. But this can only happen because he first purified your circle. There's something powerful happening in your atmosphere right now. The moment you accept that those exits were sacred, your energy realigns. You stop mourning and start manifesting. The doors that closed are making room for new divine assignments. Archangel Michael says, I am preparing divine replacements, pure hearts who will walk beside you, not against you. You see, the reason you couldn't move forward before was because you were surrounded by energies that weren't built for your expansion. Every dream you delayed was being suffocated by invisible resistance. But that resistance has been broken. The clearing you experienced through those departures, with the sound of spiritual chains snapping. The path ahead is now cleared of unnecessary weight. This is where it gets deeper. Some of the people who left were never your enemies. They were simply not ready for your transformation. When light expands, it exposes. And when truth rises, false alignments collapse. So, don't curse the ending. Bless it. For it is written, what God removes, he always replaces with better. Tonight, Archangel Michael surrounds you with radiant blue light, the flame of divine protection. Imagine it wrapping around your aura, sealing every open door to harm. Feel peace replacing anxiety. You are being guarded, chosen, refined. The same sword that removed toxic ties is now carving your path toward new connections, destined and pure. Before you move, remember this. When you stop fighting for what was, you create space for what will be. Every ending has purpose. Every silence has meaning. You were never being punished. You were being promoted in disguise. Heaven trusts you with this revelation because you are ready to see with spiritual eyes. Hold on, because the next revelation will unveil why Archangel Michael waited for this exact moment to remove certain people, and what new door is about to open because of it. Trust me, you'll want to hear this part. Type I receive divine protection in the comments if this speaks to your soul. Lesson code 2244 is now activated. Beloved, lean in closely. For what Archangel Michael is revealing now is not merely a message, it is a divine unveiling of why heaven rearranged the people around you. The sudden distance, the abrupt silence, the unanswered calls, they were not coincidences. They were the sound of divine armor being raised around your destiny. You were never abandoned in those moments. You were hidden in plain sight. Hidden from sabotage, hidden from manipulation, hidden from voices that would have delayed your divine timing. Michael says, you asked me to protect your purpose, so I removed the people who would have destroyed it. Understand this clearly. Protection often looks like rejection until revelation arrives. You cried when they left, not realizing that God was answering a prayer you forgot you prayed. You said, "Lord, surround me with those who are true," and heaven did exactly that, but truth first exposes the false. When the light of destiny shines, it forces every shadow to flee. So yes, they left, but they didn't just walk away. They were escorted out by the hand of an archangel. In the spiritual dimension, there were contracts written against your progress, invisible cords tying you to cycles of disappointment. You thought it was bad luck, but it was spiritual warfare in disguise. Some people were carriers of delay, not by their own awareness, but by the spirits influencing their behavior. Archangel Michael stepped into those atmospheres with his sword drawn, cutting every unseen attachment, draining your spiritual strength. When they disappeared, you thought it was personal. It wasn't. It was divine warfare on your behalf. And this is the part many don't understand. Sometimes, God answers your prayers for elevation by sending separation. Because not every person can breathe the air at your new altitude. The higher you rise, the thinner the air becomes. Those who cannot adjust spiritually will fall away naturally. It is not cruelty. It is calibration. Michael was calibrating your environment to match the vibration of your next season. There was a moment when you felt the sudden pull to isolate, when conversations began to feel empty, when familiar places started draining your energy. That was not depression. It was spiritual detox. Michael was clearing residue, cleansing frequencies, preparing your spirit for the next divine download. The loneliness you felt was not punishment. It was incubation. Heaven was growing something in you, and isolation was the soil of transformation. Now Michael speaks again. If I had not removed them, you would still be questioning your worth through their opinions. I had to strip away every counterfeit voice so you could finally hear mine. You were never supposed to build your identity around approval. That's why certain people stopped clapping when your spirit started evolving. They were never cheering for your light. They were comfortable with your shadows. Heaven cannot allow that to continue. Even now, some of you feel torn between grief and gratitude, wondering why it still hurts even though you know it was for the best. Archangel Michael says, healing takes time, but protection begins instantly. The ache you feel is not from loss. It's from detachment. Your spirit is adjusting to a new level of peace after years of spiritual noise. This silence is holy. It is where revelation begins. And here's the mystery. Every person who exited your life created divine space for what's about to enter. You have been asking for divine partnerships, kingdom friendships, and pure love. But heaven cannot pour new wine into old skins. The clearing had to happen first. The storm was necessary to reveal the foundation. You will soon see why those who walked away made room for the one sent to stay. Michael stands now with wings unfurled, his sword glowing with sapphire fire, declaring over you, your season of hidden protection has ended. Now begins your season of visible restoration. What was removed in secret will be replaced in the open. Those who questioned your worth will witness your rise, not for vengeance, but for testimony. You will be the proof that divine separation is preparation for elevation. Before you rush ahead, pause and breathe. This next revelation will shake something in your spirit. Michael says, when you finally stop asking why they left and start thanking heaven that they did, you activate the law of replacement. That means every relationship that ended out of divine will create space for one aligned with purpose. Someone pure, destined, carrying peace instead of confusion, truth instead of manipulation. If you are listening to this right now, heaven is confirming, Restoration is already moving toward you. The right voices, the right helpers, the right alignments, they are not coming by accident. They are drawn to your healed frequency. You will no longer attract what wounds you. You will attract what grows you. This is Michael's decree over your life tonight. Before this moment closes, if your heart feels this truth, speak it aloud. I am not alone. I am divinely surrounded. Because the moment you say it, you agree with heaven's order. The protection around you multiplies, and your path becomes guarded by light. And now, my dear one, if this message has stirred something inside your spirit, take a moment to let gratitude rise. You survived what was meant to break you, and you did so under divine defense. That's not luck. That's angelic intervention. If this revelation has touched you, remember to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and comment your testimony of how Archangel Michael has protected you. Help spread this word of light so others may find the same peace you have found. And don't forget to subscribe, because every message released here carries a blessing meant for you. Type "I am covered by the light" in the comments if this message ignited something within you. Blessing code 3333 is now activated. Now listen closely, beloved, for this next part carries the divine instruction on how to recognize when Archangel Michael is preparing you for restoration, and how to discern the ones heaven is sending next. But before that, here is a sacred invitation from the heart of this mission. My friend, if this word awakened your spirit, understand that you are part of something much larger. Each time you give, each time you sow into this ministry, you help carry heaven's message into hearts still battling in silence. I'm not asking for support. I'm inviting you to participate in light. When you release a gift through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become a vessel through which God's word travels farther. The harvest of souls expands through your obedience. As it is written, "He who waters others will himself be watered." This is not a donation. It is a declaration that you stand with heaven's mission. I speak blessing over every giver now. May your seed open doors no man can shut. Sow boldly, act quickly, and let your giving echo in eternity. Precious soul, Archangel Michael now pulls back the veil even further. The time has come for you to understand what happens after the separation. When heaven clears your atmosphere, it never leaves you in emptiness. What feels like silence is actually sacred reconstruction. Your spirit is being rewired, your discernment sharpened, and your destiny repositioned. Michael whispers, "I had to take you through solitude to teach you the sound of your own spirit. Because when you hear yourself again, you hear God again. There was a time when every voice around you carried weight. You listened to advice, opinions, and distractions that clouded your intuition. You couldn't distinguish divine guidance from emotional noise. So heaven turned down the volume of the world. The silence you've been walking through was not absence. It was training. Michael says, you cannot command storms if you cannot hear peace. You needed quiet to learn the language of heaven again. It was in that stillness that your spirit began to heal from invisible bruises. There were words spoken over you that your soul never forgot, harsh judgments, false accusations, betrayal from those you trusted. Those words became weights on your wings. But Archangel Michael's sword didn't just cut people away, it cut their words away too. The fire of heaven has been burning through your memories, purifying your heart so that when new connections come, you will not project old pain onto new faces. This season is sacred because it teaches you that isolation is never punishment when it's orchestrated by heaven. Solitude is where prophets are refined, where warriors regain strength, Every tear you shed in the quiet was recorded in the archives of eternity. You were never unseen. You were being watched by angels assigned to your restoration. Michael stood by you through every sleepless night, every unanswered question, every moment when your faith trembled. You thought you were losing everything, but you were actually gaining clarity. And now, heaven is saying, the rebuilding has begun. The same hand that removed is now placing. But the placements will be different this time. You are no longer meant to attract people who drain you. You are being aligned with souls who speak life into your vision. People who pray for you when you are not in the room. People who see your light and protect it, not compete with it. This divine replacement is not just about relationships, it's about every dimension of your destiny. Opportunities, ideas, partnerships, resources, each one being arranged with divine precision. But before the new enters, Michael gives a warning. Do not reopen doors I have sealed. You will be tested. Some who left will attempt to return. They will come dressed in apology, speaking peace but carrying old energy. Discernment will be your shield. Heaven is not sending you backward. If they truly changed, you will not need to chase reconciliation. Their spirit will testify of renewal. But if you feel confusion, know this: confusion never comes from God. When heaven moves, peace always follows. This is how you know restoration is near. Your spirit begins to feel lighter. The things that once triggered you no longer carry power. The names that once caused pain now pass through your mind without emotion. A detachment is divine healing. Michael says, when you can bless what broke you, you've graduated to the next dimension. You are being prepared to walk among promises without fear, to carry light without compromise. Now, something deeper is unfolding in your favor. The reason you had to lose certain people was not only for protection, it was for purification of purpose. Heaven could not allow you to step into your assignment carrying human approval as your foundation. Every divine war must first face seasons of misunderstanding. People will misread you, misjudge you, even label you. But all of it refines you. Michael says, do not defend yourself. Let truth defend you. Silence has been your greatest strategy, because heaven does its best work in quiet vindication. There are blessings being aligned for you right now, blessings that require space, maturity, and spiritual focus. The delays you experienced were not denials, they were divine pacing. Heaven was slowing you down so that what belongs to you could be built without cracks. The enemy wanted you to chase validation, Michael wanted you to chase revelation. Because once revelation becomes your anchor, no rejection can shake you again. Listen carefully now. You are entering the stage where heaven begins to replace pain with purpose. The same energy you once wasted trying to hold on to people will now fuel your divine assignment. The time you spent grieving over endings will now become your preparation ground for beginnings. You are stepping into divine momentum, and Archangel Michael stands before you as the guardian of this transition. His wings stretch across your path, ensuring no weapon formed against your new season can prosper. You will start noticing subtle signs, the right people appearing at the right time, divine ideas awakening in your spirit, peace becoming your compass. These are confirmations that the rebuilding has started. Heaven is not silent, heaven is strategic. Every divine move requires preparation, and you are walking through it right now. The waiting is not wasted, it's warfare in disguise. Archangel Michael declares, the tables are turning in your favor. Where you were once rejected, you will now be received. Where doors once closed, new ones will open, doors built on truth, alignment, and destiny. You will recognize divine replacements because they will carry peace, consistency, and genuine love. No more pretending, no more uncertainty. The counterfeit has been cleared so the authentic can appear. Before you move on, let this truth rest deeply within you. Everything that was removed has already been replaced in heaven's plan. It is only a matter of time before it manifests in your reality. The people who left were part of your old chapter. The ones arriving are co-authors of your next one. And when you meet them, you will understand why the others had to go. Hold on, because the next revelation will expose how Archangel Michael prepares your spirit to recognize divine replacements before they even appear. This insight will keep you from repeating cycles. You will want to hear what comes next. Type "I receive my divine rebuilding" in the comments if this message resonates with your spirit. Lesson code 4477 is now activated. Eurus Soul, the atmosphere around you is shifting, and Archangel Michael now speaks of the next phase, recognition. He says, "What you lost prepared your eyes. What you gained will require vision." Many people pray for divine connections but do not recognize them when they appear. Heaven is now sharpening your discernment so that you will no longer mistake distraction for destiny, nor confusion for connection. Every tear you shed has washed your inner vision. Now you see not through emotion but through revelation. Michael reveals that discernment is not suspicion. It is spiritual sensitivity trained through trial. You had to experience false love to understand genuine love. You had to encounter betrayal to recognize loyalty. Every painful lesson refined your perception. What once fooled you will no longer deceive you. The season you are walking into requires that your spirit listens louder than your eyes see. Because not everyone sent your way will come wearing darkness. Some come cloaked in light, speaking words of peace yet carrying energy of delay. That is why Archangel Michael remains at your right hand, to whisper truth when appearances try to mislead you. He says, "When I send the right ones, your peace will recognize them before your mind does." Peace will be your confirmation, not excitement, not appearance, not emotional intensity, but peace. True divine alignment carries stillness. The energy feels calm, familiar, safe, and unforced. There is no confusion in heaven's orchestration. Every relationship heaven authors flows naturally because both spirits are tuned to the same frequency. That is what you must now watch for. Michael reminds you of something powerful. Divine replacements are not merely new people, they are new patterns. Heaven is not only changing who surrounds you but how you respond to them. You will no longer chase validation or ignore red flags. You will speak boundaries with grace and hold space with confidence. You will recognize when someone mirrors your purpose and when they mirror your past. That is discernment in operation. You are evolving from emotional attachment to spiritual alignment. Think back to the moments when you felt drawn to people who drained you. There was always a small hesitation in your spirit, a whisper you ignored. That whisper was Michael. He tried to caution you before the pain began, but love often speaks louder than wisdom in the early stages. Now, that season of blindness is over. You have graduated. Heaven calls you refined through fire. Every scar became a seal of wisdom, every heartbreak a scroll of divine knowledge. You now carry insight that cannot be learned in comfort, only in confrontation with truth. Michael says, "You were not rejected by them, you were recruited by heaven." Your pain was your initiation into discernment. The angels now trust you with higher assignments, and that means greater awareness. You will soon begin to attract souls with callings similar to yours, people who carry the same heavenly code. When they appear, your spirit will recognize them instantly. It will feel like remembering, not meeting. That familiarity is divine frequency alignment. Yet, you must guard this next stage carefully. For when light increases, attraction also increases. Both divine and deceptive energies will seek your attention. You will notice more people drawn to you, some moved by your energy, others magnetized by your progress. This is why Archangel Michael warns, test every connection through peace. Ask yourself, does this bring me clarity or confusion? Does this person awaken my purpose or distract it? If confusion follows, it is not from heaven. The Archangel shows a vision now, a golden door appearing before you, representing your next opportunity. But standing around it are shadows pretending to guide you through. They are not evil. They are misplaced energies, unaware of your destiny's weight. If you allow them near, they will delay what is yours. That is why separation had to come first, so you could learn what peace truly feels like. Only then can you recognize when peace departs. Heaven wants you to know that this discernment will protect more than your relationships. It will protect your purpose. Because every destiny has two battles, the external fight against opposition and the internal battle against misalignment. Michael's protection covers both. His sword now glows brighter each time you choose truth over comfort, stillness over chaos, wisdom over impulse. You are no longer a target of confusion. You are becoming a weapon of clarity. And here's the divine secret. Discernment is not learned through information. It is received through purification. You have been purified. That's why you no longer tolerate what once felt tolerable. Your spirit outgrew what your mind once excused. The evidence of your healing is not that you feel nothing toward the past, but that you feel peace remembering it. This peace is your crown. It means heaven trusts you with greater assignments because you no longer serve from wounds but from wisdom. Archangel Michael now declares, I will send divine partnerships that multiply your peace. You will know them by the fruit they produce, not the words they speak. Some will bring opportunities, others healing, others vision. Together, these connections will form the network heaven designed for your next mission. You are stepping into the era of divine alliances, hearts united by purpose, not convenience. In this moment, the Archangel spreads his wings around you, forming a shield of light. He says, every deceptive spirit that once disguised itself as companionship has now been exiled from your path. The air around you feels lighter because the invisible weight has been lifted. You are walking into a timeline where discernment guides every decision. Now, take a breath and receive this truth. What once confused you will soon confirm you. The tests you endured were not in vain. You are entering a stage of divine recognition, where your spirit will instantly know what aligns and what doesn't. Every false door will close quickly. Every true one will open effortlessly. That is the reward of spiritual maturity. Hold on, because in the next revelation Michael will unveil how divine replacements arrive, and how heaven positions you to receive without resistance. This next unveiling will open your spiritual eyes even wider. Type I walk in divine discernment in the comments if this message speaks to your heart. Blessing code 5588 is now activated. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now turns the page of your story, guiding you into the mystery of divine replacements. He says, everything heaven removes, heaven replaces, but never with the same form. What is about to enter your life will not look like what you lost, because heaven does not recycle pain. It restores purpose. You are standing on sacred ground, the threshold between endings and beginnings, where the air itself carries the vibration of new alignment. The angels are preparing encounters that will unfold not by chance, but by divine choreography. Michael shows a vision, golden threads connecting from heaven to earth, weaving around your path. These threads are the relationships, opportunities, and revelations being aligned for this new chapter. Some of them are already moving toward you, unaware that their destiny is tied to yours. They are answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. Heaven has been organizing divine timing while you were still healing. Every no that frustrated you was protection shaping a better yes. In the spiritual realm, there are moments when heaven pauses your progress, not to deny you, but to synchronize you. That pause you called delay was actually a rehearsal for destiny. Michael says, if I had sent your replacements before your healing, you would have repeated your history. That is why heaven waited. You are implemented with preparation. You had to learn what peace feels like before you could protect it. You had to become whole before you could hold what is holy. Now, as this new alignment begins, the Archangel reminds you, divine replacements are always peace-filled. When they arrive, they will not demand your energy, they will honor it. They will not compete for your attention, they will complement your mission. These new alignments will carry evidence of heaven's fingerprint, clarity, honor, consistency, and spiritual resonance. You will feel it in your spirit before your mind can explain it. That's the sign. Michael says, you will know them by the light they carry. Some of these replacements will come as people, mentors, friends, companions of divine purpose. Others will come as opportunities, doors opening where you were once rejected. Still others will come as ideas, creative blueprints downloaded straight from heaven. All of them carry one assignment: to restore what was lost, multiplied by grace. You may not recognize them at first, because divine gifts rarely arrive in expected packaging. But your spirit will feel the peace before your eyes see the form. Michael cautions you not to rush this process. Divine replacements require patience, not panic. The moment you start chasing, you signal distrust. But when you remain still, heaven moves faster. The Archangel says, let the replacements find you in alignment, not in anxiety. That means keep your focus on healing, purpose, and gratitude. The more aligned your frequency, the easier it becomes for heaven to locate you. Blessings don't respond to noise, they respond to order. Think of the story of Job, who lost everything, yet heaven restored twice as much. That was not just a story, it was a pattern. You are walking through that same pattern now. Everything removed was a seed, everything returning will be a harvest. The reason certain losses felt heavier is because they carried greater replacements. Heaven's mathematics multiplies through subtraction. Every goodbye became an investment in your future restoration. Michael wants you to know that divine replacements don't only restore, they reveal. They show you what genuine alignment feels like. They teach you that love doesn't have to hurt to be holy, that peace doesn't have to be earned, and that loyalty doesn't need convincing. When heaven sends replacements, you stop striving and start receiving. Your spirit relaxes because it recognizes home. These replacements will feel like breathing after years of holding your breath. You will soon notice small confirmations, new conversations that refresh instead of exhaust, unexpected messages that carry encouragement, opportunities that feel weightless. These are signs of heaven's hand at work. Michael says, you are now magnetizing divine replacements effortlessly because your spirit has finally remembered its worth. Your healed energy has become a beacon, calling forth everything that resonates with light. But there is one more thing heaven wants you to understand. Divine replacements come with divine responsibility. You cannot treat what heaven sends like what the world gave. Guard these new alignments with prayer, gratitude, and discernment. Do not idolize them, honor them. Every divine gift must be sustained by spiritual maturity. When you appreciate replacements as extensions of heaven's favor, they multiply. When you neglect them, they fade. Gratitude is the key that keeps blessings alive. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, his sword lowered, his wings spread wide, his voice steady. You have passed the season of removal, he declares. You are entering the season of restoration. The angels surrounding you record this decree in the book of remembrance. Heaven's archives now bear witness that your wilderness season is over. Every seed you sowed in tears is about to bloom in laughter. You will soon see replacements in every area, relationships that heal, work that fulfills, ideas that prosper. Your life will become a testimony that divine protection always leads to divine promotion. The pain you endure was not a dead end, it was a redirection. You were being guided away from imitation so that authenticity could find you. Take a deep breath now, and release every remnant of fear, because what's coming next will not resemble what left. The replacements will arrive gentle, pure, steady, like dawn after a storm. This is the confirmation you have waited for. Archangel Michael says, "You have endured the pruning, now prepare for the blooming." The same hands that shielded you are now delivering your blessings. Hold on to this moment, for the next revelation will show how to maintain what heaven replaces, how to walk in alignment so that no counterfeit ever replaces peace again. That wisdom will preserve your restoration. You will not just receive, you will sustain. Type "I received divine replacement" in the comments if this resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 6622 is now activated. Beloved, as Archangel Michael continues to unveil the layers of heaven's design, this moment marks a shift from receiving to sustaining. It is one thing to receive divine replacements, it is another to maintain them. Heaven never sends blessings to test your worth, it sends them to measure your stewardship. Michael says, "What you guard with prayer will last, what you neglect through comfort will fade." Your new season is not only about restoration, but responsibility. Heaven entrusts increase only to those who can protect it without pride. You see, the pattern of divine replacement carries a rhythm: removal, refinement, restoration, and then reinforcement. You are now standing in the fourth phase. The reinforcement of your spirit ensures that what was divinely placed in your life cannot be stolen by fear, ego, or distraction. Many receive new opportunities only to lose them to old habits. That is why Archangel Michael is here to fortify your spirit. He says, "The same sword that removed your enemies will now guard your blessings." Your discernment, once a weapon for survival, is now becoming a tool for cultivation. The purpose of discernment is no longer just to detect danger but to nurture destiny. Heaven trusts you to water what it plants. Every new person, idea, or opportunity sent to you carries a purpose sealed in divine timing. You must not rush their unfolding. The same patience that sustained you through loss must now protect you through growth. Michael reminds you that premature exposure can destroy divine development. What is planted in secret blooms in strength. There will be moments when your new blessings will feel fragile, when relationships feel uncertain or opportunities seem overwhelming. That is not a sign of failure but of foundation. You are being taught stability. Heaven wants you to depend on peace, not on performance. You are not required to earn what heaven gave. You are simply asked to honor it. That means showing gratitude daily, setting boundaries gently, and guarding your heart without closing it. Michael says, "Sustain your blessings through gratitude." Gratitude is the energy that keeps heaven's flow continuous. The thankful heart multiplies what it receives because it aligns with heaven's rhythm of giving and receiving. You once prayed from desperation, but now you will pray from abundance. When you start each day acknowledging even the smallest blessing, you keep the gates of favor open. Heaven loves a grateful spirit because gratitude is worship in motion. There is another secret that Michael now reveals. Divine replacements require new identity. You cannot walk in new blessings with the mindset of the old season. The habits that protected you in pain will not sustain you in peace. Some of you grew used to isolation, mistrust, and independence out of survival. But this new season invites partnership, trust, and communion. Heaven is asking you to let people in again, not everyone, but the ones sent with divine assignment. To maintain your new blessings, you must believe that not everyone comes to harm you anymore. Healing must graduate into openness. Michael whispers, "Guard your peace, but do not hide your light." The protection you built around your heart was never meant to become a prison. You are not called to survive now, you are called to shine. The blessings coming to you are not for keeping. They are for demonstrating the faithfulness of God. When people witness your calm after chaos, your stability after storms, your peace after betrayal, they see heaven's power reflected through you. You become a testimony not by preaching but by living proof of divine preservation. Heaven is calling you to shift your focus from fear of loss to faith and purpose. What is meant for you cannot be taken, because divine assignments carry divine protection. The same Michael who guarded you through warfare now walks beside you in peace. His sword no longer strikes. It now glows as a reminder of victory. The battles you feared will not return, for their purpose has already been fulfilled. You have outgrown those frequencies. Listen carefully, beloved. You will know you are sustaining your blessings when your spirit stops reacting to old triggers. When people from your past resurface and you no longer feel anger, only understanding, that is preservation. When opportunities appear and you move with wisdom instead of impulse, that is maturity. Michael says this is the fruit of your transformation. You no longer live defensively. You live deliberately. Now, heaven is also adjusting your relationships to align with peace. The ones staying will mirror your calm. The ones fading will reveal their dissonance. Do not chase, do not force. The same peace that drew the right people in will naturally dismiss those no longer meant to stay. Sustaining blessings is not about control. It is about surrender. When you surrender, you stop fearing change. You trust that whatever shifts is part of heaven's maintenance plan. The Archangel now surrounds you with light as he speaks this decree. You are entering the year of sustained peace. The warfare that once defined you is finished. The protection that once hid you now promotes you. The angels record this declaration, sealing your new chapter with stability. You are being positioned not just as a receiver of miracles but as a keeper of grace. Every word you speak now carries weight. Speak peace and you will multiply it. Speak faith and you will attract favor. Michael concludes this message with a whisper that vibrates through the unseen. Do not fear losing again. What heaven establishes cannot be shaken. This is your confirmation that stability has found you. You are safe in the structure of divine timing. The storms that once threatened you now serve you. They are the winds that carry your testimony farther. Take this moment to breathe deeply. Let gratitude fill your lungs. You are no longer surviving change. You are mastering it. Your blessings are not fleeting. They are fixed. Heaven has anchored them to your obedience. Hold on, beloved, for the next revelation unveils the evidence of divine promotion. How heaven elevates you publicly after protecting you privately. This unveiling will show you the visible reward for every unseen battle you endured. You will want to receive this fully. Type "I guard my divine blessings" in the comments if this resonates within your spirit. Blessing code 7733 is now released. Beloved child of light, the hour has come for Archangel Michael to reveal what follows: sustained peace, divine promotion, You have walked through the wilderness of separation, endured the fires of refinement, and now the heavens prepare to display publicly what was forged privately. Michael declares, "What I once concealed in the dark for protection, I now reveal in the light for purpose." This is not mere restoration, it is exaltation. Every silent battle fought beneath tears will now speak as testimony. You may have wondered why your progress seemed hidden, why your growth was unnoticed, why your faith went unrewarded in sight of men. Michael says, heaven does not build towers in haste. It lays foundations in secret. The quiet seasons were not delay, they were depth. The deeper the roots, the higher the rise. What seemed like stagnation was actually stability being formed. Now that you are anchored, heaven can elevate without risk of collapse. In this season of divine promotion, you will begin to see reversal in areas where you once experienced rejection. The same doors that once closed will open effortlessly, not because they suddenly changed, but because you did. Heaven has upgraded your frequency, and creation responds to alignment. The same people who overlooked you will now see your light and not understand why they feel drawn. It is not personal, it is spiritual. You are radiating the energy of purpose fulfilled. Michael stands beside you, his voice resounding like thunder wrapped in peace. You have been tested with little, and now heaven trusts you with much. Every lesson learned in pain becomes a key in your hand. These keys unlock opportunities designed before your birth, assignments, relationships, provisions. They were waiting for maturity to meet destiny. And now maturity has come. You are ready. Heaven's timing is flawless. But Archangel Michael gives a sacred warning: when I promote you, remain humble. Divine promotion is not an applause, it is an assignment. Elevation is never for self-display but for service. You are not being lifted to shine above others, but to illuminate the path for those still walking through darkness. Promotion without humility leads to downfall, but humility with purpose multiplies favor. Heaven promotes not by human merit but by purity of motive. Stay pure, stay anchored, and favor will chase you naturally. In the coming days, you will notice alignment between your desires and opportunities. What once felt impossible will unfold with ease. Emails, messages, and divine connections will arrive unexpectedly. Yet remember, this is not coincidence. It is divine synchronization. Michael says, every event has been scheduled in heaven's calendar. Your promotion has been written long before the pain that prepared you for it. Now hear this truth deeply. Divine promotion is not just material increase. It is spiritual expansion. You will feel a new level of peace, wisdom, and clarity. Your voice will carry authority, your presence will shift atmospheres, and your words will awaken dormant spirits. This is not pride, this is anointing. You have been entrusted with the power to heal through presence alone, because your energy now carries evidence of deliverance. People will feel safe around you without knowing why. They will sense the residue of divine protection hovering over you. But remember, every promotion invites new warfare. The higher your elevation, the more visible you become to both heaven and darkness. Yet Michael reassures you, you are not ascending alone. My sword remains drawn around your platform. The very forces that once pursued your downfall will now witness your rise and retreat. No attack can penetrate divine assignment sealed by obedience. You are untouchable because your promotion is prophetic fulfillment. You may also notice people resurfacing, those who once doubted, questioned, or mocked your journey. Respond not with arrogance but with grace. Your response determines your next altitude. Michael says, silence in victory is louder than revenge. Let your peace speak where words are unnecessary. Forgiveness keeps your elevation pure. Harboring resentment contaminates your blessing flow. Rise clean. Rise healed. Rise grateful. Archangel Michael reveals another mystery. Divine promotion always carries multiplication. When heaven elevates you, it does so for legacy. Your influence will ripple beyond what you can see. The seeds you plant now, in kindness, truth, generosity, will birth harvests in generations after you. You are not being blessed for convenience. You are being commissioned for impact. That is why your preparation felt so intense. Heaven was not training you for a position. It was training you for transformation. Pause for a moment and reflect on how far you have come. Remember those nights you thought you were forgotten, those prayers you feared were unheard. Yet here you stand, still breathing, still believing, still chosen. Every unanswered prayer was being written as divine promotion behind the scenes. The God of timing never forgets. You are walking proof that patience is never wasted when protected by angels. Now, Archangel Michael instructs you to guard this new season through consistency. Keep your discipline strong, your prayer, your gratitude, your peace. The same focus that sustained you in hiddenness will preserve you in visibility. Do not allow attention to replace devotion. Remember, fame fades but favor endures. You are favored, not famous. Your promotion is sacred ground. Walk it softly, with reverence and purpose. Heaven is cheering for you now. The angels who watched you cry are now rejoicing as they record your rise. Michael whispers, "This is the hour of manifestation. You are stepping into what you were created for. The pain with the prerequisite, the loneliness the initiation, the silence the strategy. Now everything converges into divine fulfillment. Before you move to the next revelation, take a moment to seal this truth. Speak aloud. I rise with purpose, not pride. I carry peace, not pressure. Every time you affirm this, you strengthen your spiritual posture. Divine promotion is sustained not by power but by posture, gratitude, humility, obedience. If this message resonates with you, take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and comment your testimony below. Let this space become a circle of light where stories of transformation ignite hope for others. Do not forget to subscribe, for every message released here carries prophetic guidance meant to align your next step. Type "I rise in divine promotion" in the comments if this message speaks to your heart. Blessing code 8855 is now activated. Now, stay close, beloved, because what comes next unveils the divine rewards of obedience, how heaven repays every tear, every unseen battle, every quiet surrender. It is the part where hidden faith becomes visible favor. Dear friend, as this message reaches your spirit, remember that you are part of heaven's unfolding story. Every time you give, whether through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you help this divine word reach hearts waiting for light. Archangel Michael's message does not end here. It continues through those who carry it. I invite you to be one of them. When you sow into this mission, you plant seeds in souls worldwide, and heaven records it as a prophetic act. Scripture says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." Let your giving today open that floodgate of refreshment over your life. Your support is not donation. It is participation in divine work. Give boldly, for the heavens are watching with joy. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now unfolds the revelation of divine reward, the manifestation of what was promised when you were walking through your wilderness. Heaven's justice is precise. It never forgets a single act of faith. Michael speaks gently but firmly. Nothing you suffered was wasted. Every tear watered the soil of your breakthrough. What seemed barren was never abandoned. It was simply hidden beneath divine timing. And now, that timing has matured. The heavens are full, ready to pour. You endured trials that seemed endless, nights where silence echoed louder than prayer. Yet all along, angels were recording your endurance. You were not being ignored. You were being weighed. Heaven measures faith not in emotion but in endurance. You did not give up, even when you could not feel divine presence, and that persistence has now unlocked reward. Michael says, "You trusted when you could not trace me, and now I will repay you before those who doubted your perseverance." The divine reward is not limited to material blessings, though those will come. It begins inward, as peace that surpasses understanding. The first evidence of heaven's repayment is calm after chaos, when you wake up without heaviness, when your thoughts no longer chase old wounds. That peace is proof that the warfare ended in your favor. Michael declares, peace is heaven's first currency. Once your inner world is restored, the outer world begins to align with it. Opportunities, resources, and relationships will follow that frequency. The enemy tried to convince you that your faith was futile. He whispered that obedience was pointless, that surrender made you weak. But the truth is, every act of surrender built a foundation for promotion. Heaven never rewards talent before testing. It rewards obedience after trust. Michael says, the weight of your calling demanded refinement, not recognition. And now, because you remained faithful when unseen, heaven can trust you to remain humble when visible. Your reward will appear as divine ease, effortless flow replacing constant struggle. The things you used to strive for will now find you naturally. The reason it will feel easier is because resistance hath been removed. The battles that once blocked you have been cancelled by obedience. Heaven does not reward through chaos, it rewards through alignment. The moment your heart aligned with divine timing, your reward began moving toward you. You will also notice restoration in relationships. Those who were meant for you but were delayed by confusion or distance will re-enter your life, not through emotion, but through divine order. There will be conversations that close cycles, apologies that release burdens, reconciliations that restore joy. But Michael reminds you, do not confuse restoration with repetition. Some connections are being healed so they can remain at peace, not so they can return. Healing is not always reunion. Sometimes it's resolution. Financial provision is also part of this reward. Heaven is not limited by human systems. It works through them. Unexpected resources will appear, new opportunities, creative ideas, and favor through unlikely people. This is not random. It is repayment. Michael whispers, every seed sown in faith now returns multiplied. You will begin to see divine mathematics at work, time restored, strength renewed, influence expanded. You are not starting from where you left off, you are starting from increase. But the greatest reward of all is recognition of purpose. You will finally understand why you had to endure what you did. The same situations that once brought confusion will now bring clarity. You will see how every heartbreak refined your empathy, every delay sharpened your wisdom, and every loss positioned you for leadership. Michael says, you are now the evidence that pain can be prophetic. Others will look to your life and find courage for their own journey. That is the legacy of obedience. Understand this, beloved. Divine reward is never hurried. It comes layered, building upon itself like waves of light. One breakthrough opens the door to another. The key is to remain grounded as blessings unfold. Prosperity with ambition is peril, but prosperity with gratitude is permanence. keep your heart soft, your hands open, your focus upward. The same gratitude that sustained you in lack will sustain you in abundance. There will be people who wonder how you rose so quickly, how favor followed you so suddenly. They will see the reward but not the refining. Do not waste time explaining. Let your peace be your answer. Michael says, you owe no defense to those who did not witness your warfare. Heaven's vindication is silent but complete. Those who misunderstood you will be silenced by your fruit, not your frustration. And now comes the decree from heaven's throne. This is the season of divine return. Everything lost in obedience is being restored through grace. Time, opportunity, peace, relationships, nothing wasted, nothing forgotten. You will look back and realize that every path, even the painful ones, led you precisely here. Heaven does not make mistakes. It makes masterpieces. You are one of them. The Archangel spreads his wings over you now, releasing golden light that signifies completion. He says, the cycle of suffering has ended. The cycle of satisfaction begins. That satisfaction will not come from circumstance but from certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be. That awareness is wealth no money can purchase. It is the sound of your soul remembering its purpose. As you walk into this reward, remember to hold grace. Bless those who left, honor those who stayed, and forgive yourself for what you didn't know then. This humility will guard your abundance. Heaven never rewards arrogance. It rewards alignment. Stay close to your source, and no blessing will ever turn to burden. Beloved, prepare your heart. The next revelation will uncover how to walk in divine authority, the power granted when you carry heaven's reward with purity. It is the moment when blessing becomes influence, and influence becomes ministry. Wait for it will ignite your spirit beyond measure. Type I receive my divine reward in the comments if this message speaks truth to your heart. Blessing code 9944 is now released. Beloved Spirit, Archangel Michael now opens the scroll of divine authority. The reward you've received is not the end. It is the beginning of empowerment. Heaven's plan has never been merely to bless you but to authorize you. You are now entering the realm where peace becomes power, where protection becomes purpose. Michael's voice echoes softly yet carries weight. The one who endures warfare without bitterness becomes trusted with the sword of light. You have been tested, trained, and transformed for this moment. Authority is heaven's acknowledgement of your maturity. Understand this. Divine authority is not domination. It is dominion through surrender. You are not being called to control, but to carry influence from purity. The reason your pain was prolonged was to remove pride. Authority without humility corrupts, but authority with surrender creates miracles. Michael says, heaven raises those who bow. Every time you chose faith over retaliation, silence over argument, prayer over panic, you were being promoted in the unseen. The crown of authority rests on heads that know how to kneel. And now, the angels are positioning you as a vessel of divine command. When you speak from alignment, creation listens. Heaven's authority is not about loudness, it's about resonance. Words carry weight when spoken by hearts purified through obedience. Michael declares, your voice now carries power because your heart carries truth. The same prayers that once felt unanswered will now manifest quickly because your alignment has matured. Heaven responds to order. When your spirit vibrates with heaven's rhythm, your words become keys that open gates unseen. There will come moments when you feel this authority rising within, times when peace suddenly floods a chaotic atmosphere or when your words calm storms around others. That is not coincidence. It is spiritual transfer. You are carrying heaven's energy. Michael's light now moves through you as extension, not separation. He whispers, I once fought for you. Now I fight through you. This is what divine authority means. You have become a living instrument of divine will, a walking answer to prayers spoken by others. This authority will manifest in 3 realms: in your speech, your presence, and your actions. Your speech will carry prophetic weight. When you declare peace, atmospheres will shift. Your presence will radiate calm. People will sense safety in your energy. Your actions will break cycles. Simple obedience will carry supernatural results. Heaven is expanding your territory not by noise but by presence. You are being trusted to represent light in places that have never seen it. But with authority comes vigilance. Michael warns, guard your humility as fiercely as your power. Every spiritual promotion attracts counterfeit flattery. People may attempt to exalt you beyond measure, but you must remain grounded in service. Authority is maintained through accountability. Stay rooted in prayer. Stay hidden in gratitude. The moment you believe the power originates from you, it will begin to wane. You are not the source, you are the conduit. Keep the channel clean and heaven's flow will never cease. The Archangel also reveals a truth many overlook. Divine authority thrives in compassion. The higher you rise, the softer you must speak. Heaven measures strength by gentleness. When you carry true authority, you no longer need to prove it. You don't argue. You affirm. You don't compete, you create peace. The greatest demonstration of power is the ability to remain kind when provoked. That is what distinguishes warriors of light from fighters of ego. Michael says the mightiest sword is mercy. Your authority will also attract responsibility. The more you carry, the more heaven expects. You will be drawn into environments where your peace is needed. Families in conflict, hearts in despair, spaces heavy with fear. Don't resist these assignments. You are sent as a living flame. When you walk into those atmospheres, light will respond to your energy. You won't always need to speak. Your presence will shift things. That's because authority is less about instruction and more about embodiment. You are the message now. Remember, divine authority also tests your trust. When heaven begins to answer your words quickly, remain discerning. Speak only what is rooted in love, never in reaction. Authority magnifies intention. Whatever you release will return amplified. That's why Michael insists on purity. Keep your motives clean, your tongue guarded, your spirit anchored in stillness. Authority without purity invites chaos. Authority with compassion births miracles. Now, the heavens record your commissioning. Archangel Michael raises his sword before the throne and proclaims, "This one has endured. This one is ready." Light descends around you, wrapping your aura with sapphire fire. You feel it not as heat but as peace, a steady assurance that heaven now works through you. You have transitioned from protector to protector, from defendant to defender. Where once you cried for deliverance, now your presence delivers others. This is the transformation heaven planned all along. Every battle that once terrified you has become territory you now command. You are no longer reacting to life. You are directing it. Authority doesn't make you immune to challenge. It makes you victorious through challenge. When storms rise again, you won't beg for rescue. You will speak peace, and heaven will honor your decree. This is the posture of divine authority, to walk in calm knowing that angels surround your every word. Michael's final whisper for this revelation comes with power. You have been forged in fire, now you lead through light. That means your scars are no longer reminders of suffering. They are seals of commissioning. Every pain that once silenced you has now become your platform. Heaven promotes those who remain faithful when unseen. You are heaven's ambassador on earth, carrying the energy of divine order wherever you step. Pause now and receive this truth fully. You are not ordinary. You are chosen. You are authorized. Walk with quiet confidence, for the heavens back your obedience. You no longer need to chase affirmation. Your authority itself is proof of approval. Hold steady, beloved, for the next revelation unveils how to sustain divine authority amid temptation and distraction, the strategy heaven gives to ensure you never lose what you've gained. That message will anchor your destiny and permanence. Type "I walk in divine authority" in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 1001 is now released. Beloved, Archangel Michael now turns your attention toward the preservation of what you have received. Divine authority, if not guarded with wisdom, can be diminished by distraction. You have ascended into light, but heaven's law remains. What is not maintained through vigilance will eventually weaken. Michael speaks in calm certainty. Authority is not a moment. It is a lifestyle. You do not keep it by emotion, but by consistency. Heaven did not crown you for convenience, it crowned you for constancy. Every day is now a renewal of covenant between you and divine purpose. To sustain divine authority, you must walk in the discipline of quiet focus. The world will try to pull your attention outward with noise, flattery, and provocation. Those are not random. They are calculated distractions designed to drain your spiritual power. Authority flows through stillness. The quieter your heart, the clearer your direction. Michael says every distraction seeks to unseat peace, for peace is the throne of power. When you feel pulled into confusion, pause, breathe, and realign. The moment you restore peace, you restore command. Another danger to sustained authority is fatigue of faith. After warfare ends, the spirit tends to relax, assuming the battle is finished forever. But divine authority requires continual renewal. You cannot depend on yesterday's oil to win tomorrow's battles. Michael explains, the flame you carry must be tended daily. Prayer is your oil. Gratitude is your wick. Service is your fire. When these remain active, the flame never fades. Heaven replenishes those who keep their altar burning. Beware of complacency. Many who experience divine power begin to rely on it rather than on the presence that grants it. You must never substitute gift for relationship. Gifts are given once. Relationship sustains forever. Authority detached from intimacy becomes performance, and performance breeds pride. That is why heaven sometimes withdraws sensation, to remind you that faith, not feeling, sustains connection. Michael warns gently, do not chase signs. Chase surrender. When you remain surrendered, your authority remains sharp. The next preservation key is humility and visibility. Now that your influence increases, your character must remain lower than your platform is high. Divine authority thrives in humility because humility creates spiritual insulation. When others praise you, pass the glory upward. When others criticize you, remain still. Authority is not proven in reaction but in restraint. Michael says, the meek inherit authority because they do not misuse it. Heaven tests maturity through provocation. Each time you resist the urge to prove yourself, your spiritual rank strengthens. Temptation will also come disguised as opportunity. You will encounter offers that seem beneficial yet carry compromise. This sermon must become your compass. Authority does not expand through every open door, it expands through the right ones. Ask daily, does this align with my peace? If peace departs, heaven is not in it. Divine authority follows peace, a shadow follows light. Michael promises, if you guard peace, I will guard opportunity. Another preservation principle lies in community. Even those with divine authority must not walk alone. Heaven builds circles, not pedestals. Isolation is the enemy's oldest trap. It whispers self-sufficiency until the heart drifts from counsel. Surround yourself with those who speak truth, not comfort. True allies correct before collapse. Michael reminds, even the strongest warrior needs intercession. Allow others to pray with you, for shared prayer multiplies covering. Sustaining authority also requires integrity and secrecy. Who you are when unseen determines what power heaven can trust you with when visible. Authority leaks through dishonesty. Every small compromise dulls your sword. Keep your heart transparent before heaven. When no one watches, heaven still records. Let your unseen life be heavier than your visible one. Michael declares, I can't defend deceit, but I amplify truth. Each honest choice sharpens your light, allowing divine energy to flow freely through you. The greatest temptation of authority is to believe you must always act. Yet often, authority is proven by knowing when not to move. Heaven's strength is demonstrated in restraint. There will be times you sense chaos forming around you. The natural instinct will be to intervene immediately. But wisdom often says wait. Silence is sometimes a greater weapon than speech. Michael says the sword of patience cuts deeper than the sword of impulse. Every delayed reaction trains your spirit to rule instead of react. As you continue walking in this mantle, remember that power and peace are twins. One cannot exist without the other. True authority will never make you restless. It will always make you still. Restlessness reveals imbalance. When your peace feels disturbed, retreat into prayer. Authority maintained through prayer never collapses. Heaven feeds those who return daily for replenishment. In this year of your elevation, Michael assures you that you are not alone. Legions accompany you, not because you are fragile, but because your assignment has expanded. With higher influence comes wider warfare, but also deeper protection. The angels that guarded you privately will now surround your public platform. You will sense divine presence more tangibly in spaces that once intimidated you. Every environment that once strained you will now bend to your command. Heaven is watching how you steward this season. You have moved from being defended to becoming a defender of others. Your authority is not for dominance, it is for deliverance. People will begin to find peace simply by standing near your consistency. That is how heaven replicates influence, through embodiment, not instruction. Michael says, your life is now the sermon. Your peace is now the pulpit. Live what you have learned, and no counterfeit can replace your authenticity. Before this revelation concludes, listen to this eternal truth. Authority is sustained through surrender, and surrender is sustained through love. Love is the highest law in heaven. When love rules your decisions, power flows without resistance. Authority anchored in love never fades, for love itself is eternal. The Archangel lifts his sword and seals this decree. You are fortified. You are unshakable. You are sustained. Light settles over you, steady and unwavering. The winds that once threatened your peace now serve as your testimony. Heaven records this moment as the confirmation of endurance fulfilled. Hold close, beloved, because the next revelation unveils the final mystery. How heaven crowns those who finish their refinement with gratitude, and how your story now becomes a beacon for others walking through loss. It is the culmination of every promise spoken over your journey. Type I sustain divine authority in the comments if this message strengthens your spirit. Blessing code 1112 is now released. Beloved child of light, Archangel Michael now brings you to the closing of this divine revelation. What began as confusion has become clarity. What began as loss has become legacy. You have walked through separation, restoration, and elevation, and now heaven crowns you with completion. Michael's voice is no longer distant. It is calm and near, filled with warmth and finality. You have walked faithfully, he says, and now the crown of understanding rests upon you. This final mystery reveals how gratitude seals the journey, how a thankful heart transforms endings into eternal beginnings. In the language of heaven, gratitude is not emotion. It is alignment. It means acknowledging that every moment, even those wrapped in pain, was carrying purpose. Michael explains, when you give thanks for what once wounded you, you close the door to bitterness forever. Gratitude is the highest form of warfare because it transforms pain into worship. Every demon that once fed on your fear loses strength when you choose gratitude instead. Gratitude is not saying you enjoyed the battle. It is saying you understand why it was necessary. That understanding is your crown. Look back gently upon your story. There were seasons when you asked why you had to lose people you loved, why doors slammed when you knocked in faith, why silence followed every prayer. Now you see it clearly. Each of those moments was a movement of mercy. Archangel Michael was positioning you, removing the unstable to make room for the unshakable. Every delay preserved a miracle. Every denial redirected your destiny. Gratitude allows you to see that heaven never said no. It said not yet. Michael says, completion is not the end of blessing. It is the beginning of stewardship. You are now entrusted to teach through your example. Others will see in you the reflection of divine endurance. You will not need to preach loudly. Your calm will preach for you. Every place where you once broke will now become a fountain for others' healing. You are no longer the one seeking rescue. You are the living rescue heaven sends into the world. That is what divine completion produces. Transformation from recipient to redeemer. Now heaven calls you to live as testimony. Divine authority, sustained peace, and gratitude form the triad of maturity. These are the marks of one who has walked with angels and survived refinement without resentment. You have learned that protection sometimes comes dressed as loss, and love sometimes speaks through silence. You have become fluent in the language of heaven, the language of trust. When others panic, you will remain still, because you have seen the pattern of divine timing. When others curse endings, you will bless them, because you understand they conceal beginnings. Michael reminds you that gratitude sustains what obedience births. When you give thanks daily, you maintain open communication with heaven. Gratitude becomes a shield around your blessings, repelling arrogance and fear. It reminds you that every victory was shared. Heaven fought beside you, unseen but unstoppable. Gratitude keeps your heart from forgetting who fought for you when you couldn't fight for yourself. Michael says, remember often, for remembrance renews revelation. When you remember, you remain radiant. There is a mystery many overlook. Heaven measures greatness by gratitude. Those who thank even in small things expand their capacity for miracles. Gratitude enlarges the vessel of the heart, allowing more light to dwell within. When you live in gratitude, you become magnetic to grace. Opportunities begin to locate you. Blessings flow toward you because your frequency matches heaven's song. The angels are drawn to gratitude like rivers to the sea. It is their native atmosphere. When you thank God, you speak their language. Now, listen closely, for Michael reveals what gratitude does in eternity. Every act of thanksgiving sends a ripple into the spiritual realm, creating echoes that return as protection and provision. The moment you say thank you, you multiply favor unseen. Gratitude is not a clothing prayer, it is an opening portal. It keeps the heavens active around you, ensuring that your story remains a channel of blessing for others. You are not ending this journey, you are expanding it. Gratitude ensures that your ending births new beginnings for those who hear your testimony. The Archangel stands before you now, holding the sword that guarded you from unseen battles. It no longer burns with urgency, it glows with peace. He lowers it and says, "Your warfare is accomplished. A season of defense has become the season of dominion. You are no longer a survivor, you are a steward. Heaven trusts you to walk forward carrying peace as armor and gratitude as crown. Every step you take will now carry fragrance of victory, not of struggle. Your past no longer defines you. It refines you. This is your commissioning moment. The heavens record your transformation, marking your name among those who have overcome by endurance and thanksgiving. Michael speaks once more. You were never abandoned. Every silence was strategy. Every loss was liberation. Every tear was translation of purpose. These words seal your soul in divine confidence. You are ready to live as proof that heaven's protection is real, that separation was salvation, and that faith never fails when gratitude follows. In this moment, take a breath and whisper your own thankfulness. Gratitude aligns your past, present, and future into perfect harmony. The energy of thanks now fills the room where you are. It expands, traveling beyond your space, touching those who once hurt you, blessing them instead of cursing them. This is true freedom, to love without needing return, to bless without expectation. That is the final transformation of a soul guarded by angels. Archangel Michael concludes, go forward and release light where darkness once reigned. Speak life where silence once dwelled. Be peace where pain once lived. His wings rise, covering you for the last time in this message, not to hide you, but to send you forth. The sword lifts, the heavens open, and a golden path forms beneath your feet. You have not finished. You have been launched. If this revelation has spoken to your spirit, if you feel heaven's peace surrounding you, share this message with others who are still in their season of loss. Let your voice be their bridge out of darkness. Like, comment, and subscribe so that the message of divine protection continues to reach those in need of hope. Your participation is part of heaven's expansion. Type "I am crowned in gratitude" in the comments if you receive this with your heart. Blessing code 1212 is now released. Now, beloved, before this story closes, hear this invitation from the mission itself, an opportunity to extend this light into the world through your support. Beloved friend, if these words have stirred your spirit, remember that every message released here is a collaboration between heaven and hearts willing to carry light. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become part of the angelic work itself. Your giving is not donation, it is participation in divine alignment. Each seed sown multiplies souls reached. Each act of generosity becomes a wave of transformation. As Scripture declares, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Today, you are invited to sow into this revelation, not as obligation but as obedience. The moment you act, heaven records it, and Archangel Michael himself releases fresh protection over your life. Give boldly, give joyfully, and know that your contribution echoes in eternity.